Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm the host for South Carolina Weather, Joseph Peterson. Let's go ahead and start off with your Sunday evening. Now, looking at the radar right now, South Carolina is looking pretty good right now. We do have no precipitation hitting us right now. But if you look at the East Coast just in general, not really, because we do have all that snow and that rain all the way going from New York, Pennsylvania, maybe portions of Buffalo getting some heavy snow. We have places like West Virginia getting a mix of rain and snow. Some rain over here just east of New York City. Some rain up here in Maine. And some snow all the way up here in Canada. So it is very active on the East Coast. But the Southeast and parts of the Mid Atlantic, the Southern Mid Atlantic, is doing pretty good right now. And then we move over to our west. We do have some showers down here inside of Texas that might make some rain problems, but not really anything that we have to worry about. No thunderstorms. And then up here inside the Pacific Northwest, we do potentially have some thunderstorms in like this area right here, where I'm shading in right now. Could potentially have some thunderstorms up there, but nothing serious. Just a couple of rumbles of thunder, and that's pretty much it. And then we do have obviously this rain all the way here from Idaho, Montana, Oregon, and California starting to get their rain again, but definitely not as bad as it is. Let's go ahead and move over to our cloud cover. Cloud cover right now we're doing pretty good as well. No cloud cover is really happening right now. Not really the best day to go outside during the nighttime. Maybe do some star watching, but for sure there are going to be some better days ahead for that, but tonight's not going to be that much of a great night because of just how cold it is. And the reason why, because I mean, we already have current temperatures already 48 Greenville, 46 in Walhalla, 52 in Walterboro, 57 in Charleston, 55 in Columbia, 55 in Florence and Sumter, 57 in Myrtle Beach, 52 Union, 50 Rock Hill, 55 in Augusta, in places like that. And they're only going to get colder as well. If we go ahead and move on to our minimum temperatures for tonight, we could have minimum temperatures below freezing in portions of the upstate, and going from places like Greenwood all the way up there to Anderson, South Carolina. We could also see not freezing on the dot, but definitely some very close to freezing conditions over up there in Greenville, as well as we could potentially reach 33 degrees, 36 in Columbia, 35 in Sumter and Florence, 41 Myrtle Beach, 42 Charleston, 40 Savannah, 36 Augusta. So if you have any pets out there, you need to bring them inside. If you have any plants up there inside the upstate, you need to bring them inside. If you're inside the Midlands or the Low Country, if your plant can survive non-freezing temperatures, you may be good to go, and you might can leave them out. Definitely, if you're inside the Low Country PD, you should be able to leave your plants outside. But if you're up there inside the upstate, I would not risk it. Go on ahead and move them inside. The northern upstate, y'all might want to move y'all's up as well. But if you're from Columbia, kind of like on a line from Columbia all the way down towards Charleston, you should be fine, and you should be able to leave your plants outside. Here is our max wind gusts for the next 24 hours. We do have potential wind gusts that can reach 14 to 15, 17 miles an hour up there inside the upstate for the next 24 hours. 17, 16, 20s from Sumter, Florence, Columbia, Augusta, and then potential 25s along the coast. And then once you get to like places like the Tri-County region all the way through to like the Low Country going down to the border of South Carolina and Georgia, very calm conditions as well. So wind gusts not going to be too much of a factor. The only place that might see some kind of breezy conditions is the coast. Here's our 24-hour precipitation totals. No precipitation is expected for the next 24 hours. And then here is our day one SPC outlook for tonight. There goes that TSTM for up there for Oregon, Washington, northern Idaho, and northwestern Montana. We were just talking about that, as those thunderstorms could potentially be happening right now. Pretty much, a few lightning flashes remain possible over the Pacific Northwest. Those severe storms are not expected. But it's mainly, we did have a day one as well for New England and Florida as well, but they have been removed because there's going to be no more chance. Like, I think the thunderstorms that was happening inside Florida has moved off the coast, and the thunderstorm that's happening in New England they just fell apart. Here's tomorrow. We do have a TSTM for tomorrow for portions of northwestern, or I should say western Washington. It does say that isolated lightning activity may be more likely overnight as steeper mid-level lapse rates cooling aloft impinges on the region. So, a few thunderstorms with lightning activity could be possible, especially once you get to the nighttime hours up there for the western coast. We go to day 3. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather for Tulsa, Oklahoma, Springfield, Missouri, Olathe, Kansas, Broken Arrow, or Oklahoma, and Fayetteville, Arkansas. This is just the start for our multi-day severe weather threat. It's spring, it's severe weather season, so there's going to be multiple days of these, and we will see marginal risk, slight risk. I mean, there's a potential chance that, I think last year there was like some straight days to where we saw a slight risk almost every single day. There are some days that we saw a marginal risk almost every single day, and I think that's going to come back. There may be some days that we see marginal risk every single day. But, I mean, as you can see, here we go. This marginal risk. I did put out my outlook for what I thought. They did make it kind of fatter, though. I'm not going to lie. Maybe the models kind of fatten it up a little bit. Probabilistic, it does only have a 5%, obviously. I don't expect it to get any higher. I think a marginal was about as far as it will get. It does say that a few strong to severe thunderstorms is possible or may occur across the south central plains and Ozarks on Tuesday. It does look like it says current bottom line assessment is that a few strong and severe thunderstorms could occur. They have not said anything on what could be the potential thing yet. Yes, they did. It's like at the very bottom. It does say a few strong and severe thunderstorms capable of hail and gusty winds. So, some hail, some winds possible with this system right here. Not really pointing out anything for tornadoes. But yes, wind, hail. It's on day 3. Day 5, we do have a slight risk. But actually, before I get to that, let's go ahead and show my risk real quick for severe weather. If we go ahead and switch over to scene 2, here is my unofficial day 4 severe risk for Wednesday, March the 10th of 2024. We do have a slight risk of severe weather. I think that a slight risk of severe weather could be possible for eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. And then we do have a marginal risk, my opinion, that I think could start to kind of curve upward, going to Missouri, up into Iowa, and go down into Arkansas, go through Texas, northern Texas as well. But this is kind of what I think is possible. Obviously, I'm not a professional, so don't take this literally. We have to wait and see. But if it does and make you kind of trust this, the SPC did say for day 4 that a slight risk is potentially possible. So I'm not the only one that's saying this. The SPC agrees with me that a slight risk could definitely be possible, and I think that it's definitely warranted. So we'll see what happens. But here's our day 1 right here from the CSU and the CIPS. Obviously nothing. If we're going ahead and move over to the day 2, obviously nothing because no severe storms are possible. Day 3, we do have that marginal risk, but the CSU has completely got rid of it completely. That's where I kind of got it from, was the CSU. The SBC does have it, but the CSU does not, and the CIPS does not. And kind of crazy to think about, but I said that the marginal risk was going to be here before the SBC thought that it was going to be there. Very interesting. And then here's day 4. Again, this is what the CSU thinks. This is what the CIPS thinks. Very, very small. And this is what I think. So, again, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But the SBC does not have anything for day 4 yet. Day 5. This is the main day that we're watching for. Here's the CIPS. The CIPS does have a 15% risk that goes from Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas. 15% risk. And then surrounding that is yellow, 10% risk for severe storms as well. That is for day 5. That is for Thursday. So day 4 is Wednesday. Day 5 is Thursday. So Thursday is looking to be like one of the biggest days for severe weather. And then here is our day 5 risk right here from the CSU. The CSU going, again, all out like he usually does, already having a 0.30% chance, or sorry, 0.342% chance of seeing that severe weather, which would be an enhanced risk of severe weather. Very interesting to see that the CSU is already pointing this out. And then here we have the SBC, which only has a 15% risk for most of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. We just saw that though. Here's our day 6. The day 6 is probably what we need to be watching out for. Day 7, maybe, but day 6, potentially as well. I think day 7, day 8, potential. Day 6 from the CIPS shows dual 15% risk for Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas. A 10% risk surrounding both of those going all the way up to the Appalachian Mountains. The CSU has a huge 15% risk and has a little 30% chance for in the red there. And then a 5% risk that goes pretty much from Pennsylvania all the way down to Texas. That's not going to happen. We talked about that last night, that the CSU had the marginal risk stretching all the way up into like New Hampshire and Vermont, I'm pretty sure, which we knew for sure that wasn't going to happen. It shrunk this part off kind of like right here for New York and New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut. It kind of shaved that part off, but it still says that Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, Kentucky, so we'll see what happens. The 15% risk does span from like the upstate in the eastern Texas, and the 30% risk is only for Mississippi. And the SBC has not commented on it yet. The day 7 aggregate severe comparison between the CIPS and the CSU, the SBC. The SBC has not said anything for day 7, but they do have a little 15% risk. The CSU does have a little 15% risk for Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, a 5% risk that spans all the way from Maryland all the way down into Texas. The CIPS does have a little 10% risk only for Mississippi and Alabama. And then day 8, the CIPS does have a 10% risk for Alabama and very western Florida, western panhandle. And then the CSU has it pretty much has the 5% risk, but also includes most of South Carolina as well. But some very, very uncertainties between all of these models. But yes, we're gonna have to definitely watch out, especially once we get into day 6, day 8. But we're gonna have to wait and see. So let's go ahead and move on to the excessive rainfall outlooks. So if we go ahead and move on, obviously we do have that marginal risk of excessive rainfall. We talked about this yesterday with the marginal risk for southern Maine, southeastern Maine, I should say. And then for our day 2, we do have no risk. We have no risk of excessive rainfall for tomorrow. And then once we get into Tuesday, no risk of excessive rainfall is expected. So we're pretty good to go when it comes to excessive rainfall. Let's go ahead and switch over and look at the CSU with the UFVS and the ARI. Both of them are not really showing anything. They show the thing for today, but nothing for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and move on to the ARI. Let's go for its day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So it's day 3, day 4, not showing anything. Let's go ahead and check out the UFVS for its day 3. Nothing for day 3 and nothing for day 4. But the ARI does show a day 5 risk, and so does the Weather Prediction Center as well, already highlighting a slight risk of excessive rainfall for Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. But that's from like the actual professionals themselves. The WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, actually humans made this. And then I think this is what is this? This is the ARI, I'm pretty sure. Yes, the ARI. All right. So yes, the ARI already does have a marginal risk that goes from Louisiana all the way up in Arkansas, but does not have a slight risk. And I think the UFVS also has the same thing. Oh no, it does. The UFVS does have a slight risk, but it does move it kind of westward towards like Texas and Oklahoma for day 5. Day 6. Let's go ahead and move on to day 6. The ARI does have a day 6. But remember, the WPC only goes 5 days out, so really the rest of this is just computer models. We do have a 5% or a marginal risk of excessive rainfall according to the ARI for Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Eastern Texas. The UFVS does show another slight risk, mainly again for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Then the ARI for day 7 does show, again, another marginal risk that goes from Texas all the way up in the very western portions of South Carolina. And we go to the day 7 for the UFVS, shows a slight risk. For the day 8, we're not even going to talk about that because that looks very just not well put together, if that makes sense. Very spread out, so we're not going to talk about that. Day 8, though, for the UFVS does show a marginal risk for most of South Carolina. And that's about it. The HRRR, though, doesn't, very weird, does not show anything. But that's going to be it for that. We're going to go ahead and move on and talk about the rest of the week. The rest of, for the future, pretty much. We push this forward, and we have a high pressure over us for most of the beginning of the week. I mean, look at us staying dry till about March the 15th, and then we might start to see those showers start to pop off inside of the upstate, and then those will slowly move eastward and move off the coast. Very quick system. Goes on the 15th, 16th, and then it's like off the coast. Like a 12-hour system that just moves off pretty quickly, according to the GFS. Then here we go. March the 17th, we're getting more rain and then some potential severe weather. On the 17th, that was something that we were watching out for. If we go ahead and switch over to our dew points are showing that we will have dew points in the 60s for our 800, I should have 500 millibar, but no, they don't have that. Let's do the 850 millibar winds. Yes, we will have that wind up inside the atmosphere as well. So that's correct. And then if we go to Cape, we will have Cape. So the 17th, I really am watching for, because again, just potential for the severe weather on the 17th could be pretty big, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But going back to the precipitation, the rain, frozen precipitation, let's go ahead and make it like that, because I kind of liked that last time. That's gonna move off the coast. There it is. It's gonna move off, and then we're gonna have another quiet period. And then on the 20th, we potentially have another chance for those showers down there, at the very southern tip of South Carolina on the 20th. And then on the 21st, that moves off. And then we have this huge system right here. Kind of resembles like a hurricane almost, even though it's not a hurricane. But, it has like that outer band, and then the rain kind of just like moves up, and then the low pressure comes through, and then you get the worst winds, and then it moves off, and it finally calms down. You know how that works. So here we go. With that moves off on the 23rd, and then this is 300 hours out, so we cannot trust everything that comes out here. But I mean, for the entire 300 hours, looks like barely anything happens. I mean, a couple of raindrops, but I'm not seeing anything too bad. Pacific Northwest still getting hit fully, but they do get a bit of a break if you look at around March the 13th. If you push it forward, I mean, they get a big break. I mean, from March the 13th all the way through the 19th, and then the 20th is when they'll probably see another raindrop. But I mean, from the 13th through the 20th, California, the entire state might not see a raindrop for a full 6 days. That is very good for them. And that's going to about wrap this up. I do want to talk about the temperatures real quick, though, because the temperatures are very, very important, because honestly, it's going to be pretty hot. And the reason why I say that is if we go forward, and actually, I wonder if we can go to the NAM for this one. But if we push it forward, I mean, you got these high temperatures in the 60s for most of us. But then look at this. Temperatures in the 70s, okay, on the 12th. And then we push that forward, and that's as far as it goes. Well, let's go to the Euro. The Euro, it only goes out a full 24 hours. Let me see if we can go to the GFS. All right, yeah. But, I mean, look at this. We push it forward. I mean, some very hot temperatures on the 13th. 70s, high 60s, low 70s. We've seen it before. But then we get here, and it's like, okay, March the 14th. Everyone, pretty much everyone inside of South Carolina will be inside of the 70s. Unless you're near the coast, the waters could cool you down to around the very high 60s. But, I mean, if you're inland, like, close to, like, I'm trying to think of some regions right now. I think that's Walterboro, 78. Conway, 76, I think that is. And then, like, some 80s over here in Dorchester County, Berkeley County. And then we move this forward some more. Look at this, 80s. I mean, all the way inside the 80s for on March the 15th. 83 near Walterboro. And I'm going to actually move this forward real quick. I'm going to go over to Ventusky real quick. See if I can push this forward. All right. Here we go. All right. So if we go all the way out back to where it was, if we move over to the GFS, here inside Centerville where I am, I don't know why I did that, but that's not where I am. So like Centerville where I am, for example, 58. All right, 58. And then we move this forward, some more, and we go through to I think it's the Wednesday, and then we go through, I mean, high temperature 75, I mean, for most of us, and then we move past this again, and then we go through to Thursday, and Thursday around 2 p.m., 80, so the GFS is not messing around, 81 for some regions, and then by 8 o'clock, it might still be around 70 degrees for some regions. So it's going to be a very, very hot week. A very, very hot or warm. It depends on what 70 and 80 degrees really means to you. Now, the first part of the week will obviously be not as warm because the cold front just passed us literally like yesterday. So it's going to be pretty cold. And those rain chances will start to increase when we get to like Thursday, Friday. No, mainly Friday. But Thursday, yeah, maybe Thursday for the upstate, but the coast around Friday. But definitely high temperatures are coming. We're really starting to get in the spring now. And we might start to see those 70 degrees frequently now. 80 degrees sometimes, but I do feel like that when we get into like April, May, we'll start to see those 80-degree temperatures start to really come back, and it will be almost daily, because you know how summer is. You have lows in around like 60s, 70s. You'll be lucky if you get a low inside the 50s, and then you get those highs in like the 80s, the 90s, maybe even hit 100 one or 2 days, and it's just very interesting just to see how seasons work. But that's going to about wrap it up. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning with another forecast update. unless something happens tomorrow. So a video might come out tomorrow. A video might not come out tomorrow morning. But we'll see. I'll try to get it out. But we'll see what happens. And I'll see y'all definitely tomorrow evening though. So I'll see y'all tomorrow.